When we look up into the night sky, it's easy to feel a sense of wonder and awe at the beauty and mystery of space. But lurking among the stars are chilling secrets that may make you fear the very thing you once admired. But imagine the terror of hearing this sound not on Earth, but in the cold vacuum of space. This unsettling experience was shared by an astronaut named Chris Hadfield, who recounts an incident that occurred while he was on a space station orbiting Earth. From eerie radio signals to terrifying deep space encounters, these frightening tales will leave you questioning the vastness of our universe. As he settled into his sleeping bag, he heard a series of distinct knocks coming from somewhere outside the station. The year was 2009, when Strom was browsing the internet looking for a good horror story to read. They were about things that had already happened to him or people he knew. At first, he thought it was just a coincidence. But as he continued to explore the site, the similarities became too great to ignore. And if you ever stumble across a website that seems to know a little too much about you, remember Eric Stone and the dark secret he uncovered. The stories were almost as if they were written specifically for him. At first, they assumed it was just a piece of trash or a lost tool. But as it approached, they realized that it was something they couldn't identify. It disappeared into the darkness, leaving the astronauts to wonder if it had simply fled or was planning to ambush them again. The crew spent the next few days in a state of constant fear and paranoia, unsure of when or where the creature might strike next. They sealed themselves into the core module for safety, but even that provided little comfort. To this day, the identity of the creature remains a mystery. Some believe it was a hallucination brought on by stress and isolation, while others claim it was a demon or otherworldly being. In the chilling tale of Apollo 18, the crew of a space mission encountered something they weren't supposed to, a mysterious presence that haunted them throughout their journey. Objects moved on their own, alarms sounded without warning, and disembodied voices seemed to whisper their names in the darkness. At first, they tried to rationalize these occurrences, blaming them on stress, fatigue, or the isolation of deep space. But as the strange events continued, they realized that there was something else at work here. They were truly alone, trapped in a haunted spaceship with a malevolent entity that seemed intent on destroying them. This chilling tale serves as a reminder that sometimes the most frightening monsters are the ones we see and see. Share your thoughts and join the conversation. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on new videos. Thanks for watching. And if you ever find yourself alone in the darkness, remember the crew of Apollo 18 and the haunting presence that drove them to the brink of madness. Whatever the truth, this horrifying tale serves as a reminder that sometimes the things that go bump in the night are all too real. They knew that whatever was out there wanted them dead. The object was humanoid in shape, about 3 feet tall with large black eyes that seemed to glow in the darkness. That's when he came across a website that claimed to offer just that. It had somehow managed to board the space station and was now prowling the corridors, moving with unnatural speed and agility. The ghostly presence seemed to be everywhere, watching them, taunting them, and even interacting with the ship's systems. It was as if an unseen force was trying to communicate with them. The astronauts huddled together in fear as they watched the creature approach, its glowing eyes fixed on them. As the crew struggled to regain control of the situation, they realized that they were in grave danger. The ghost was not just a harmless presence, it was malevolent, seeking to harm them in ways they couldn't even comprehend. They had no weapons and no way to defend themselves against this creature from hell. He looked into the domain name, the hosting server, and even the IP address, but he couldn't find anything that made sense. It was as if the website had been created specifically to target him and those close to him. It smashed a hole in the wall and attacked one of the cosmonauts, seriously injuring him before disappearing once more. This time, the crew was prepared. They used a fire extinguisher to fend off the creature, but it wasn't enough. The monster kept coming back, determined to kill them all. This nightmare scenario became a reality for an unnamed Russian cosmonaut who shared his terrifying encounter with a creature from hell during a routine space mission. Even then, it left only after promising to return. When the sun set again, the crew waited anxiously for the inevitable attack. But this time, they were ready. Using a combination of flashlights and cameras, they managed to capture the creature in the act and drive it away. And just when he was about to give up hope of finding an answer, he stumbled upon a hidden message in the website's code. It was a simple text file that contained a single sentence: "You are the story." Realizing that he was the subject of a sinister game, Strom tried to shut down the website, but it was too late. The damage had already been done. His life would never be the same again. But what Strom didn't realize at the time was that the website contained a dark secret that would soon become all too real for him. The noise was loud and metallic, like someone was using a hammer to tap on the hull of the ship. Immediately, fear and confusion washed over him as he tried to figure out the source of the sound. Was it a meteorite, a piece of space debris, or something else entirely? So buckle up and prepare to be terrified as we count down 5 chilling space horror stories that will make you fear the stars. In the dead of night, when the only light comes from the stars above, there's nothing more terrifying than hearing a knock on your window. Hadfield's fear turned to panic as he realized that whatever was out there had not given up. But as the sun began to rise, the metallic knocking slowly faded away, leaving Hadfield and the other astronauts shaken and bewildered. To this day, no one knows what caused the mysterious tapping sound. It remains a chilling reminder of the unknown dangers that lie in wait beyond the safety of our planet. And when you hear a knock on your spaceship in the middle of the night, remember Chris Hadfield and the metallic tapping that drove him to the brink of madness. It all started when Hadfield was preparing for bed after a long day of space work. Hadfield quickly contacted ground control to report the noise and see if they could shed some light on the situation. But even their advanced technology couldn't explain what was happening. The metallic knocking continued for hours, driving a wedge between Hadfield and his sanity. He found himself pacing the narrow corridors of the space station, unable to find a logical explanation for the sound or its source. As time went on, the knocking became more frequent and intense, shaking the very foundations of the space station. If you've ever stumbled upon a strange website that seems to predict future events with eerie accuracy, then you've probably encountered a similar phenomenon to what happened to Eric Storm. As he read through the site, Strom noticed that many of the stories seemed oddly familiar. Determined to get to the bottom of this mystery, Strom started to investigate the website. This horrifying tale serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes reality is scarier than fiction. Imagine being trapped in a dark, cramped space with a creature that's stalking you, waiting to pounce. It all began when the crew of the International Space Station Mir reported seeing a strange black object floating in the distance. The crew quickly contacted ground control to report the sighting, but before they could get a response, the creature was upon them. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, the creature suddenly vanished. And as if to prove it, the creature returned again in the middle of the night. They managed to hold it off until morning when the sunlight finally drove the creature away. The next morning, they discovered that it had fled, leaving them to wonder what had scared it off. And if you ever find yourself alone in the dark, remember the Russian cosmonauts and the creature from hell that stalked their every move. Being lost in space is a terrifying prospect, but imagine the added fear of knowing that you're not alone. It all began when the crew started experiencing strange phenomena that defied explanation. The crew had stumbled upon a terrifying truth: their spaceship was haunted. The haunting continued throughout the mission, culminating in a terrifying climax when one of the astronauts was seemingly possessed by the entity. In a desperate attempt to escape the haunting, the crew tried to contact ground control, but their calls went unanswered. In the end, the fate of the crew is left unknown, lost forever in the depths of space with their terrifying ghostly stalker. For more videos of terrifying space mysteries, stay tuned. And let us know in the comments section which space horror stories have you heard?